I'm sorry, friends. Something happened which I don't understand, and Facebook just went off. So we are back. Please come and join us again. And um, yeah, okay. Let's try this again. Yeah, so Sister Chinwe, I got to add you and approve you, but somehow it's not going through. So it could be that your device needs either to restart or to uh, up, like update. So I don't know what's going on. Oh goodness. So oh. So Sister Chinwe, maybe just restart your device, please, and then log in Facebook again. In the meantime, maybe we should start with, I should bring June back so that we start the discussion. Oh goodness. Sorry friends, please bear with us. For some reason, I don't know what's going on now. Right. So let me see if I can add June back. If it can't work with June, that means it's my device that's a problem. Oh goodness. Right. I'm so sorry, friends. And okay. So Sister Chino is back. Somehow I'm trying to approve your request, but it's grayed out. Sorry. Yeah, let's try that again. Sometimes, woo, hallelujah. Thank you for your patience, everyone. God is good.
Oh my God.
God is good.
Well, can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
Good
welcome,
morning,
Sister
everyone.
Chine. How are
Oh
you?
my God. Well, I'm great. Thank God for the day. It's a new
Yes,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, our viewers have been waiting for you and try to
I know.
to discuss why, I mean, the hindrances that our women in Africa are facing. So let's
Mm.
start with that question. What are those hindrances?
Okay, good morning, everyone. And as you might know, just in case you don't know, I'm Chinwe Nanaba. And some people call me Chichi, which is okay by me. There's so many different versions of my name, so that's fine. I want to say thank you first and foremost to Esther for inviting me to your show. I'm not very good in doing things like this. I talk freely, but I'll try and compose myself as much as I can. I'm just a very funny person, so bear with me. Um, by the way, I am a psychiatric nurse by profession, and I'm married with 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. So that's what I think you need to know about me.
That's perfect.
Yes, and this topic has been an interesting one. I've been following it,
Yeah.
I realized that there's so many issues in Africa. We are a backward continent, and I don't know why. However, some research has shown that, well, there are certain things that has affected us. But for
Mm.
this particular topic today, we're going to focus mostly on women
Yeah.
and why we cannot discover ourselves. Some of the reasons, anyway, it's not everything. And
Mm.
I would like to say that it's not particularly women in Africa, it's also African women that are in diaspora. It's not
Uh,
just them, because the way I saw this, I saw it from the bigger point. What do I mean by bigger point? I tried to say to myself that this is a macro issue which stem from the foundation, from the time you were born. Let me
mm.
just take the female child for a start. Now, in Africa, I don't know about other places. Let me start with the Igbos or Nigerians, for example. Where I come from, when you have a female child, they don't really get very excited about it. Families, I don't know why, but because they have so much emphasis on, oh, you need to have a boy who will take the family name, this and that. And I tell you, that is one of the reasons why I put myself under the surgeon's table just to make sure I have a boy. And I had to go through at least 4 cesareans, which is not good for my health. And I'm sure by now what is going on in my life could just be part of that. Okay. I've got disc prolapse, and this might just be one of the reasons, because the fluid where they give you the epidural might have affected me, but nobody will tell you these things. So we all act in ignorance. But whatever the case is, that's by the way, I'm through it now. But it is my duty also to speak and let people know that these are the things that might be affecting them. However, let me start with this. I believe that in Africa, yeah, women generally we conform to whatever the society says.
Exactly.
Family,
Mm.
family,
Mm.
society, whatever they say. And you see, it's part of our culture. We have good culture, rich cultures, yes, but some of them are very detrimental to our development. And
Yeah.
I call this one of the biggest hindrance, affecting women from discovering themselves. And what I called it was cultural stroke social conformity. When I say cultural, it involves religious as well, religious.
Mm.
Okay. Um, for some of us who want to say, what do I mean? What is conformity? Conformity, of course, is the acceptance, okay, of or adherence to certain values and norms, which we all know. We obey our parents. The Bible says, obey your parents so that your days will be long. Yes, that's part of it. We agree to that. And your society or your village or your community will now tell you, as a male, as a female child, the first thing you need to do is to make sure you look after your siblings coming up. I am a victim as well. There's nothing wrong in looking after your sisters, your brothers, or anything. But the fact remains that they make you believe in your mind that you just have to do this. It's compulsory. It's not,
They imposed.
I don't know. Yeah,
Mm.
it's imposed upon you. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Just before I go on, some words might be lacking from me because I'm dyslexic. Sometimes bringing out words that I mean is a bit of an issue for me. So please, when you are watching, bear with me. And if you can actually say what you think go ahead and say it, please.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. Now, what do I mean? In discovering yourself, you need to be on your own to think. But there is so much noise in our society, from
Yeah.
family, from friends, from society, from community. Everywhere there is so much noise. So we don't have the time to even listen to ourselves. How? Okay,
Mm.
let me just go ahead with this first topic. It's about family relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. And I believe that it's a firstborn syndrome thing. what I'm talking about, June said to me, it's a firstborn syndrome because I'd say they expect the first child, the daughters, to take on their family, to look after their siblings and do all this. And let me tell you, from the time you started growing up, you'll be doing the cooking, washing, doing this and that, all sorts of things. You have no time to sit on your own. And at the end of the day, you go into school. When you get into school, oh my God, the educational system is not helping anybody either. You know why? Because in discovering yourself, you need to be able to identify your strengths, the things you like, and make such decisions. Parents are
Mm.
supposed to guide us, but
Yeah.
no, what do? They impose certain things. Oh, you have to go and read medicine, you have to be an architect, an accountant. These are all the things they believe that, you know what I mean? When you go and get this career, oh, you are done. But let me
Mm.
tell you something. That takes us away from the purpose that God has created us for. So that is a big, what's it called? It's a big
Interest.
disadvantage or
Mm.
hindrance for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Then you go and study something you really didn't want to study. At the end of the day, you are not happy and you are not making sense of what is going on. You're just working for the money. Most of us, I can assure you, most of us, the African system, that is just what it is. We are not given the privilege or the being signposted to the area that we have our strengths.
Yeah.
For example, I like, acting. I like acting from school. I used to be, one of those dancers and actress and things. And when I told my dad I want to do theater, he was like, "What? Theater arts for what? You want to be on TV so everybody will see you? They look at you as, you are a useless child." But that's what it is. I left it. Where is my father today? Who is controlling my life? So at the end of the day, it boils down to you to look after yourself and what you need to do.
Mm.
We parents should be able to direct our children towards the area we want them to go. Anyway, that's one of them. That's one of the issues we have. Now, there is also marriage expectations.
Oh, before
That's
you go
another
on,
issue. Yeah.
before you go on, Sister Chinwe, I want to read a
Yeah.
comment here by June. I think she's mentioning the firstborn syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about the firstborn syndrome. It makes majority of firstborns to live for their siblings, and when their
Mm-hmm.
siblings have grown, they start to look after their aging parents. So when do they start to live for their own passions? That's a big question.
Yeah, thank you, June, for that. And the way I wanted to go about this was to take it from when you were born,
Yeah.
what happens,
Mm.
from looking after the firstborn syndrome, from looking after your siblings to your educational system,
Mm.
it's a continuum. Then from the educational system, where you manage to study whatever it is they wanted you to study, you come out, they expect you to get married. Your
Mhm.
life has been planned for you. They expect you to get married. If within certain period of time you're not married, then you begin to look for reasons. You get married, you don't have a child, you have a child, you become a homekeeper, even the profession you're not even going to, exercise what you've learned. And in that process, let me tell you where all these issues come now. By the time you are not married or you didn't have a child, you know what happened? We begin to look for churches, prophecies. What
Ah,
happened? Because where superstition comes in. You see,
yeah.
I'm trying to link this hindrance to what is happening in our society today. So
Mm.
by the time you finish, okay, I'm now married, I haven't got a child after 2 years. Oh my God, what's happened? Somebody has tied my womb, there's a witch, somebody. Then they'll start telling you that there is somebody in your compound or in your family that's been against your progress. But they didn't realize that from the start, you weren't able to study what you really wanted for a start to get your
Mhm.
education that you
Yeah.
want, to enable you to find that passion and go
Mm.
with it. So that
Yes.
is a hindrance right there. So the big one now becomes church doctrines. You go into church, what
Mm.
happens? Oh my God, you have to follow this what's it called? Biblical saying of submitting to your husband, which most of us feel the interpretation is whatever your husband says, that's how it goes. But that's not true. That is not how it goes. It means that you have to work with your husband. I mean, God created male and female, okay? The created as men. We are the same, but we need to work and support each other. But this is not happening. Okay, so some women feel, you know what, I have to submit. The church, my pastor said I should submit. My mother said I should submit. If something goes wrong, your mother, your parents will tell you, oh, you better stay there and, submit. So what is the meaning of submission? What does it mean? So some of us have actually fallen into this hindrance and we cannot move forward. And let me tell you about this again. Men, I'm not going to talk about men so much, but I'm just going to talk about their belief. They've got
Yeah.
this chauvinistic belief that men are superior. They are superior. Well, to be honest, I believe that men, women, whoever you are, every human being was created in the image of God. Okay? And we all deserve, when I mean equal, the same respect. We need to be looked at as human beings and not as maids or slaves or whatever you call it. Yeah, you might have some advantage over me, but that doesn't mean that I don't have some other advantage over you. So
Yeah.
that's why I keep saying to people that every relationship is actually an exchange. Why do I say that? There are things you have that I can make do with to make my life move forward. And there are things you have yourself that I can either, when you say copy, people say you emulate. It's not emulating, but you copy the things that are nice. You want to find out how people are doing things so that you can make yourself better. That is
Yeah.
also a way of developing yourself. Okay, so that's what you should be. But those things are actually keeping us where we are, African women. We need to think carefully. Then when you get to this station now, you've moved on, you are settled, you've got the children and everything. It's about the children. Now your family, your parents, God bless them, they're still alive. They also make you understand that you need to look after them. It's your responsibility. Yes, you look after them, but you haven't lived a life. You haven't. So you'll be looking after your parents and your children. Before you know it, your life, you have come to the point where you can no longer function as a person. God has given some
Exactly.
things in the life.
You're 60, you're
So
70.
that's it. You just pension. You now start, the cycle starts again. But unfortunately, this time around, our children are not going to be looking after you. They've got to find their level because things are changing. And we better start thinking of how we're going to help ourselves. Some of us will still have some time. I feel personally that I've lost quite some time. But having understood what I understand now, I'm just making changes in my life, changing my mindset to make sure that, I need to do what I have to do. Then that's the macro, the macro aspect of it, and there's another aspect I looked at, which is more like a, a micro, which I tried to actually put it down to you as an individual now, not
Yeah.
society or anything. Although both of them are interwoven, they affect,
Each other.
your behavior. Yes, they affect each other. So in discovering yourself, I'm thinking about gaining knowledge, which we don't have. We don't have this. We don't read because they've directed us to go to school to go and learn a particular profession. Our focus is there. You understand? Our focus is there, but it's not supposed to. We're actually supposed to look at what we can do for ourselves, direct ourselves, but that is not happening. Anyway, now disclosing of it is about exposing yourself to knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do not have a reading culture in Africa. We haven't got libraries. Even the ones you have, they're all full of dusted clothes and God knows, cockroaches and everything. Most of them are closed down. So how would you do that? That's a hindrance. We don't encourage. But how can you even read as a female child when you are busy doing all the things that your
They're
parents and
cooking.
society wants you to do? All the cooking, fetching water, all this and that is quite a big one for us. And we also have the culture of a girl being forced into early marriage. And that's again what defines, if you can't go to school, maybe your parents haven't got the money to send you to school, they end up wanting you to go and get married so that the man will now look after you and look after them and the rest of it. That's a prison for life. That's where all this issue can, most people get into that, they get abused, they're messed up, their head is messed up. You
Yeah.
understand? Now also we are raised to shy away from asking questions. We don't ask questions. When you ask questions, you'll be seen as somebody who is challenging. Okay. yes, they say, oh, you are so challenging, you're very stubborn, you are this guy, but you're only asking questions. Because if you don't ask questions, you never get an answer. And if you don't get an answer, you will never know. You can't compare whether it's true or not. And that's why whatever the pastors and everybody tells us, we accept it and run with it and start sowing seed that is not really needed, instead of going back to the Bible to read and find out what's going on and why
Yeah.
things haven't gone the way it should go.
Mm.
Anyway, another one is poverty and miracle mindedness. Yeah, living for survival. No one has time to even think of purpose. You see, like I said, when you end up studying what you don't want, or you end up not going to school for whatever reason, what do?
Yeah.
You want to find a way to survive. You can do anything and everything. And in the process of trying to see what you can do to survive, you can't think. You can't think. Your interest is, oh, how am I going to survive today? Let me eat and go away and all those kind of things. So for me, I think is another hindrance. All these things is how would I put it? It's all put in one. It's all in one. It
Yeah.
contains in one. You
Mm.
as an individual, like for example, our men are not mentored. Okay, growing up.
Mm.
So if the heads of the household, okay, for example, if you're going to get married, we are not told that you need to work, you establish yourself, find your purpose, make sure you are comfortable. Then you need to realize the things that are needed to live with a woman, because men are different from women. Those
Mm.
differences are not being taught. They don't have
Exactly.
mentors. Instead, the same parents, the same fathers and brothers who also feel that what the society or the culture has laid on us is still right. That's how we do it. They'll keep saying that's how we do it. Well, that's our culture. For God's sake, this culture, people sat down together and put it at the time, felt that this is going to be helpful to them. But we have also come to realize that these things are not helpful. So what do? We need to start speaking out. We need to start speaking out to condemn these things, because it's not working. It's not helping
Mm.
anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another one. Now, on individual basis now, most people, I call it a timeline thing. For me, for example, when I look back now, I want to look back all my negative experiences.
Mm.
How are these things hindering me? I've come to believe that what I was told is true. Okay, so it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I couldn't do it because you're this, you're that. I'm sorry to say this. I told somebody that some people might not be very good in theory, but they might be very good in practice, in
Practical.
skills. So
Yeah.
if they can actually find out what somebody is good at, what do? They will now send that person, or at least encourage that person to go and learn the trade that he or
Mm.
she is interested. But of course, this is a she issue now. Okay,
Yeah.
if you're good in cooking, go to catering school, get the skills you need, and then you develop all the skills that you need to run well, maybe a catering, what's it called, a hotel or restaurant, whatever it is. But we are not taught these things. We
Yeah.
are not taught. Rather, they will tell us to go and study this. They will impose it on you, which is not good. Um, Another hindrance is limited by time. Well, I call it busy doing nothing, because we are trying to do the things that other people have told us to do. Our parents have told us, our sisters, everybody has told us. Because we are busy trying to run around to do those things, of course, we'll never get time to think about our own. So
Yeah.
that's a hindrance. Um, we've talked about family responsibilities, which is where the firstborn syndrome came up. Okay, and I'd rather not go into it. We also talked about, okay, let me put it this way, lack of self-worth. It's about the knowledge and skills, which I just explained. People should be directed, or rather signposted to the area that they are good at and they love. Okay, they will make better, well, professionals in that area, rather than going to do something because your parents said you should go and do it.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing is the lack of confidence and dependency syndrome.
Mm.
Because of what we've been through, at some point in our lifetime, we come to believe that, you know what, I have to depend on my husband or my parents, or probably just wait on fate for your destiny. We just wait. We don't know there are things we could do to get ourselves away from what we think wasn't right for us.
Mm.
Now, because of the same culture, when you marry and submission to when you're having children, you submit to your husband, you stay at home. The husband is the breadwinner. He goes and commit, tells you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. So you take authority, from him to do whatever it is. Now, if he doesn't say you should go to school or support you, you will
Mm-hmm.
not go. If he doesn't tell you, oh, baby, you need to do this for your own good, and that, you will not. Even when they tell you sometime, you say, I'm too old now. I can't do this. I'm now in the era of having children. I need to look after my children and all those blah blah blah. That's what we do, and those are hindrances to us. We need to begin to really think. We're not
Mm-hmm.
thinking.
Yeah.
Now, the other aspect I talked about, which affected me, was the need to be loved. Now, this particular aspect, I looked at it because I felt, because I've been told growing up that this is what is expected of me. I've been told that this is what it is. You have to do this and that so that you will find a man or family who will recommend you for marriage. You have to be yourself, behave in this way and that way. To be honest with you, the need to be loved is one thing that has, I don't know, affected and hindered people. Why? Because you end up doing things to please people. You don't want problem. You want the family to be together. You don't want to do this, and people say, "Oh, you didn't do it right." What is that? Are you
Mm.
living for yourself or for your family?
Yes.
It's a big hindrance because it's an expectation, and this expectation came from our culture. We always say, oh, it's our culture. I am sick and tired of hearing it's our culture, it's our culture. It's our culture, yes, I agree it's our culture. But the question is, this culture that we're living with, what has it done for us? Are we developing?
Exactly. Mm.
As individuals, are we developing? We
Sam has
you
written
know, oh, is
Sam
that okay?
Sam has written a comment here that
Yeah.
culture is man-made. Now that we
Mhm.
have found that it is not working for us, why don't we dump it and develop another culture?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I was going to mention, I was in Soviet Union. I studied in Soviet Union, and there was a book written by Lenin. I took something away from that book. If not
Mm.
for anything, I remember that he said that just exactly what Sam has written. He said that culture, yeah, is a group of norm values that helps people to develop. But you see, as time revolves, we get to a particular time, those particular values or norms are no longer helping us develop the society or the
Mm.
community. What
Mm.
do? You discard the ones that you no longer need, that is no longer progressive, and
Yeah.
what formulate new ones to enable you get there. And that's why up to
Mm.
today, Africa is where they are.
We don't want
That
to
is
drop
why
them.
Africa, yes, they don't want to drop them. Okay, because we are so fixed on what our grandparents said. So this is also the reason why when you come to church today, because our parents, our grandparents were into diabolic things of their little gods. Okay, they
Mm.
believe in superstition came in. So how can superstition and the things of God marry? They cannot.
We can't.
You cannot believe in your superstition, what you call culture, and expect the hands of God to come into your life. No,
Mm.
you can
Mm.
either serve this one or serve the other one.
Yes.
You understand? So all these things are all hindrances. They affect us. They
Mm.
affect the way we think. I give you an example. Growing up, yeah, I was told that when somebody dies, you don't go to the compound. Maybe they did it to frighten me. You don't go there because when you go there, the dead person the ghost might just get up and grab you. All those kind of little nonsense they tell you. And I believed in that, and I don't cross anywhere I heard that somebody died. But do you know what? I went to the Soviet Union. Nobody was telling me anything. So my mind shifted. The fact that when we go to parties and we're coming back, sometime, you know how graveyards are just by the road before you. Some of us will sit down there and have our drink and do whatever. And I said to them, come, how can you be sitting in the graveyard doing what? They said, no, because don't they just laughed at me. You see, and that's why I believe there is a saying, an adage in my language. They say that the firewood, yeah, in your country or in your community cooks your community's food,
Not
meaning
another
that what
one.
you believe in, yes, what you
Mm.
believe in is what works for you. And that's the same thing with our mindset. When we believe that this is what is going to happen, to be honest with you, we attract that, because life we live is an energy. Whether
Mm.
it's positive or negative, it comes to us. But
Yeah.
we are gripped in fear. And that is the same fear we take to church. We go to church, they prophesy. Nobody's telling anybody anything. God is not telling anybody anything. They are just using that to hold you in bondage, to make you feel, you know what? If you do this, this is what happen. Or come and so sit, then we'll pray for you and deliver you. What are they delivering? Pushing you down, kicking you, or what? Pouring sand on you? And then whatever that is holding you internally will leave you. My dear, we need to change our mindset. That's what it is. So those are the things I believe that are, well, those are the little things I mentioned that is actually
Mm.
affecting people from discovering, especially women, who they are. We are
Mm.
held in the bondage of conformity to a
Yeah.
society that we don't even know where they are going. So we need
Yeah.
to break loose. We need to break loose. So
Exactly.
I'm going to stop from
Wow.
here. So if you want to say something.
Wow. Sister, I think you said
Hmm.
it all, Sister Chin. You said it all. And as you are talking, I just said that I think also another, I think you've hinted on it as well. Another
Hmm.
problem that women have is that I think we esteem our culture above God. We esteem people above God. We worship humans.
Yes.
I know someone who cannot dress up unless the husband has chosen a cloth for her. You can't
Hmm.
do anything unless. So if you have that mindset that the other human being controls me or this tradition controls me, then when will you ever know God? When will you ever make your own decision? So we have that human worship,
Hmm.
respect. The culture of respecting elders has gone to another level. Is that they have
Yes.
become second gods, and that
Hmm.
has been a
Hmm.
hindrance as well.
Yes.
Hmm. So many people have contributed here. I'm trying to pull up some comments.
Okay.
So June here said, it is sad that some women have men who desire them to develop, but they still do not seize those opportunities. Please, men, share with your wives and sisters the bigger picture so that they see your intention and where you are coming from. Make them see that you value them and you desire to see them develop. That's bang on. Okay. Then Sami saying that superstitions has mixed the culture and religion to reproduce a new manipulative tool that reduces us to puppets
Hmm.
without any human thinking. Mm-hmm. That's so true. I just want to see the comments. Hello, Sister Gift Blessing. Thanks for joining us. Another comment here by Sami. Lack of confidence is another issue. In the course of going through life with different distractions, we lose time and relevance and go back and pick our lives up from where we dropped it and move on in a huddle. Several questions will run through an African woman's mind that become discouraging and a setback for them to run their own race.
Right.
Yeah.
Should I just say something about that particular issue? It is true. Sometimes that's why it is good to really talk about your issues so that
Mm,
other people can hear and
mm,
probably help or learn from it. Um, I have worked with certain people. For confidentiality, I'm not going to go into certain things. But
mm,
I came across somebody who almost took her life because of this thing. The frustration was so much she didn't see any need to carry on. See, we are talking about hindrance, thinking, oh, women should be. They don't know that this societal expectation, family expectation, is enough to drive people to their early grave. And most people have gone to their early grave because of all these things.
what's
You
that?
might say, oh, don't they have mind? We are not all the same. We are
Mm,
not all the same. Personalities are different, and people deal with things differently. There are different ways of dealing with things. So I
mm,
really don't understand why people, especially women, will be subjected to certain things in our culture.
mm.
And we are keeping quiet. Those who manage to say something about it, they become the rebels of the society.
Uh-huh.
But it's not fair. I always say this to people. When I talk to people, when I say to them, I'm a woman, you are a man, or you are a woman. Some families, or most families, have both male and females in the family. You get married and you go somewhere, you are treated like, I don't want to use swear word, like you are nothing.
Mm.
Now, somebody else will marry your brother and you end up treating the person the same way. So it's going around. I call it boomerang. What goes around comes around. If you don't want me to treat you badly, okay, then don't treat somebody else. I'm not saying I'm going to retaliate or something. No, but in your mind, that's where God answers prayers. When you are actually open, honest to yourself and to your God, treating people fairly, that's where, equity comes in. Go ahead and treat people like humans. I'm sure even when you go somewhere and somebody's trying to treat you like or make you feel inhumane, yeah, God will fight your cause. You
Exactly.
don't need a prophet to tell you this is what. Sometimes we have problems, we have misunderstanding because of what we know, okay? And people will tell you that man is coming after you because you have a little misunderstanding. And your mindset is, oh, anything that goes wrong with you, they've done it. Then you start running around. To be honest with you, I am sick. I am done with church, personally, because this thing affected me. No, 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 seriously, I'm done with it. I would rather treat people like humans. If I
Yes.
have, I give you. You go and sit down for somebody to manipulate your head to tell you what. I'm sorry, women,
It is
you
well.
guys, we need to wake up. We just need to
Our
wake up.
women, yes. And there
Thank
are
you.
some
African
women,
women.
yeah. Okay, before we go on, June said here, many women do not expose themselves to knowledge because their focus is no longer on themselves, but their
Yes,
husbands, children, siblings, parents. So
that's
you
it.
find someone has never done any other course, short or long, after their first degree. True. We think that after marriage, that's the biggest degree we've achieved in life.
Yes.
And then, depending so much, as Sister Chin was explaining, depending so much on your husband, then when that husband, passes away, then your life is finished.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have any side business to get your income. You didn't have anything to develop yourself. Your life is finished. We can go on and on to talk about all these hindrances. They are numerous. We can't stop here. But we want to move on to now that we know the problems facing our women, facing us. How can we solve this problem? How can women rise above these hindrances? How can we do that? And Sister,
Okay. I think for a start, we need to renew our mind. We need to accept that there is change. We
mm,
can change things.
yes,
Okay. We don't have to dwell in the same thing that our mothers dwelt in.
mm,
Because when we look back, we can see that it didn't make much sense. It didn't change anything. So we
yeah,
need to start thinking of how to renew our mind. And how are we going to do this?
mm,
I think what we need to do is to get out of all this noise. Sometimes take a time and connect with your God. That's why Pastor Sunday is talking about going on solitude. I haven't been to one anyway myself, but I understand what he explained in terms of taking time out. Even if you have to go somewhere on holiday, you don't know anybody, it's just quiet, go to the seaside, wherever you want to go, just meet with nature. Think about yourself, take an inventory. Who
mm,
am I? Why am I even here? Why all
mm,
this noise? Why all this expectation? Do I
yeah,
have to do? Just ask yourself some questions
yeah,
for a start. Then, maybe then you will also begin to hear from God. You won't need prophets to tell you what God said about you. You
for
begin to hear.
yourself,
Yes, you will hear for yourself. So that
without a
is
prophet.
one.
Hmm.
Yes. To be honest with you, I think the first thing is for you to tell yourself, this is not right. This is not on. I need to change my mind.
Yeah.
That's the first thing to do. Once you actually think about it, believe it, then you begin to look for ways. And one of those ways is to take time out and commune with God, whether it's by praying. Some people say they go to mountain, wherever you like, go, but somewhere quiet. so that you can hear, think about it, and ask yourself questions. We're very creative women, but it never can come when we are all busy doing all these chores here and there, trying to please people around us. So we
Yeah.
need a quiet place. That's
Yeah.
one of the ways. Now, I've talked about taking inventory, to discover yourself, asking yourself, what am I good at? What are the things that I really like? What is it that I can do? And how can I use those things that I have to at least touch people
Mm.
around me, to serve? When they say serve in church, it's not about ushering or other things. No, there are other things you could do. Say, for example, you discover that I always say you like cooking. I will still use it. Then you can say to yourself, okay, since I like to cook, the best
Mm.
thing to do is to go and do either apprenticeship. I don't have money. I'll go and have apprenticeship or go to a catering school, get the knowledge and get more skills because it's my passion. Then you begin to build yourself up,
Yeah.
and that will help you to discover yourself. You become happier because you now know that what I'm doing, I'm no longer reliant. So what I can do now is to do something that will at least help me become financially, independent.
Independence. Yeah.
Because that's one of the things. What we're doing, to be honest, is not helping the women. Just like you said, Esther,
Mm.
if you depend so much on your husband and the inevitable happens, what will happen? You are finished.
Mm.
And that is what we should be fighting against. We should train our children to become independent from time. Okay.
Exactly.
Another thing is we need to start communicating with positive minds and identify somebody who I call, accountability partner. Say, for example, there is something you are very good at, okay, but you don't have the confidence to do it. But you have a friend or somebody, a mentor or somebody who understands you and who knows that, yes, you can do this. They can
Mm.
motivate you more. They can help you by supporting you. They're not going to do it for you because you've already made up your mind you're going to do something, but you don't have the confidence. They will help you, give you confidence. And
Yeah.
I give you an example. What I'm doing today is one of those examples. I don't like coming to talk because I feel limited by certain things. But
Mm.
when I spoke with you, you said, no, we can do it. You encouraged me. Whether I'm doing it right or wrong, it doesn't bloody matter. I'm sorry to use the word bloody. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that I am saying something that will help somebody out. Because if you don't communicate, if you don't speak, you will never know.
Mm.
Sorry. I hope I'm not being blocked because some things are coming in. So another thing is being able to increase your self-worth through acquiring new knowledge and skills. I tell you, in the last year or so, yeah, in the last 2 years, I might not have gone for any course outside, but I am actually developing myself by listening, to inspirational speeches,
Yes.
reading
Mm.
books. I never used to read books apart from the books that I would use to, give my exams. That's it. It's hard enough for me to read that. But now, after going for HMT and the rigorous, I call it boot camp system that was,
Yeah.
introduced to me, I said to myself, if I say I'm going to do this, then I have to keep to it. I
Yeah.
must do it.
Mm.
So it's about me, and you feel good, you feel better, you feel more confident, that you're doing. You have a little knowledge coming in. It doesn't mean it has to be a professional, book that you're reading.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that. You can read anything just to have an idea what's going on, so that when people ask you questions, you are able to contribute, and that makes you feel good about yourself. So that's another thing. We also need to confront our fears.
Yeah.
Like I said, most of us have experienced a lot of negative things growing up, and those things have affected our mindset and held us in captivity. But we need to start facing them.
Yeah.
We want to ask those questions and ask ourselves, has this helped me? All this while these things are going on, I haven't moved forward. Now I want to forgive myself. I want to forgive myself and forgive whoever that offended you, knowing
Mm.
that I've come to accept, it's one of the things I learned in church Christianity, okay, that when you are actually not happy with somebody, You are holding yourself down. And how are you holding yourself? You keep thinking about what they've done to you and even start thinking, what will I do to get back at them? Those times you are thinking is a wasted time. Instead of
Mm.
doing that, you forgive yourself
Mm.
and move on. Try and love them all the same, knowing that they might not have done this to you purposely, even
Mm.
if it is purpose intentional. Okay, it's okay, it's been done. Now I've learned my lessons. I'm not going to give them the opportunity to repeat it
Mm.
by not, it's a thing of trust in some areas. So there are so many things that we can do. We can even now go on Google, you ask questions, you get answers. You can educate yourself. I'm trying to educate myself in terms of how to manage my health.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to go to doctor and start asking. He will only give me medication, or go to church, they ask you to pray. But there are things physically you need to do. So you need to start stepping out,
Yeah.
taking the risk to do those things
Mm.
and see how it goes. And when you do them, they don't work, you try another one. You keep trying,
Yes.
you know. Um, we also need to start asking questions around our belief systems. Those things that our parents, our society have put up, that is how to do certain things. We need to start asking questions. Do we do that? Okay, why is it like that? What am I going to gain? What is it going to
Yeah.
benefit us? So the
Yes.
more we ask these questions, hopefully you get answered. Some people will shut you down, but don't shy away. Just tell them, you know what? I need to know, because if I know, I'll be able to understand my
Mm.
direction of,
Yeah.
thinking or doing whatever it is you need to do. So we need to start asking questions and not shy away. When people tell us, we just accept it. Okay, maybe that's true. No, you need to find out, because that's what people do in research. They counter other people's research to prove that what they were saying is not right or wrong. So that
Mm-hmm.
is the only way we can do that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think one of the last ones is about bailing out from conformity, which is just practically what I just explained, getting
Yeah.
away from these negative cultural, social, and religious norms.
Yeah.
When we see that something is, for instance, when you go to the Bible, if we call ourselves Christians and somebody is saying something that doesn't sound right, you go back to your Bible and read and understand.
Mm.
What is this? So when you do that, you're able to demystify whatever they are saying to you. And to be honest with you, the last of them I say is that follow your intuition,
Mm.
because that thing we call intuition could just be one of the ways that God speaks to us, but
Hallelujah.
we don't recognize it because there's so much noise around us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, that's what I think women should do to
Wow.
rise above all these hindrances. We can jump over them if we
Yeah.
wish to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Sister Chinwe. And
Mhm.
as you're talking, this point came to my mind. Some women out there would say, you know what, it's too late for me. First of all, I'm old. My life is wasted. For me, it's too late. Never say it's late. You
Yeah.
can come out of it. And your own contribution can come through mentoring the young ones. Raise
Yeah.
your children, your grandchildren, eh, to be a different generation, to be a different people who are thinking differently. Use your experiences, your mistakes to help them not to repeat the same mistake. For example,
Yeah.
create a home, like every Saturday, have a home group in your house. Bring young people around you, talk to them. You say, guys, I got married at age 12 because
Mm.
I thought I was born for marriage. That is my destiny. But you don't have to do that. You have a good life ahead of you. Focus on your
Mm.
passions. Focus on your studies. Focus on, you can talk life into young people. And
Yeah.
to God, that is your contribution. That is purpose. That is purpose. And also,
Yeah.
another way to quickly know your purpose is look around your community. What are the needs? Do you see
Mm.
a dirty compound? Do you see a lot of children on the streets? Begin something small. You can talk to befriend one child. Why are you
Mhm.
on the street? Why are you like this? Before you know it, it's expanding into being a big project. So discovering your purpose is not rocket science. Begin by following your heart, as Sister Chinwe has been telling us, your intuition. You see a burden around you, something causes you pain. Find a solution, and that's how you develop. Yeah, so let us not be excusiologists. People will say, "Oh, I'm too old. Oh, I'm too woman. I'm too, I'm too young. I'm black." All these reasons are really nonsense. We can all, wherever we are, in whatever stage, we can do something great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Chinwe. We really appreciate your time. I just want to
Okay.
read some comments.
Okay.
Gift Blessing is saying exactly how to learn from our mistake so that it cannot repeat itself again. That's so true. Alice Obazi is here. Brother Osaho, thanks for joining us. Sammy is saying, ask questions about your belief system to criticize and scrutinize what you believe in. Yeah, that's how you find the truth. Because if we all just wake up and just follow the way our grandparents were living their lives, hey, life evolves. Life evolves, and as it evolves, so should our belief system be. So should you pick the good, retain the good, and discard whatever is not productive in our lives. Sister Chinwe, we are so grateful. So now, like for you say that if you're married and then you are too busy with your children, you don't have time for yourself. Now, like for people in Africa where there's no internet, you said they should be reading, if there's no internet, there's no library, how else can they get information?
Well, to be honest with you, that might not be much of an issue. It's also something to do with the people who are a little bit, should I say, aware of what we're talking about. One can
Yeah.
always start a group, like you said,
Yes.
even in the church they go to, they can start a group and shift a bit on what they are teaching. One
Mm-hmm.
can go in there based on the books they've read and what they've come to understand and have groups. Like we have clubs. It doesn't have to be in church. We can have women's club. We sit together, we chat about all these issues, we discuss what the hindrances are, and then we bring up issues like ideas on how we can overcome them. We can have talks. You
Yes.
understand? Even on one-to-one. Yes, everybody would not accept it initially because they're like, that's not what we know. But with time, we can only persist. With time, people will begin to get out of it because honestly, they said that faith cometh by hearing.
Mm.
You understand? And what it means that when you talk about something and you are able to convince somebody that, look, this is what it is, they will start listening to you. And not just listening to you, you can even help them to put in practice the ones that you can do. The
Yeah.
ones you cannot do. It's an individual thing. You have to take responsibility. If somebody is coming to tell you, oh, this is what is happening, this is what we need to do, and you don't have an interest, it's going to be a waste of time.
Mm.
But if you have an interest because that information has come to you, oh, I didn't know I can do this.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. I should try it. It awakes things. Sorry, it awakes things in you. And the next thing you need to do is to, oh, how can I do? That's why we need to be humble. It doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't matter who you are and where you are. It
Mm.
doesn't matter that
Mm.
you are somewhere up there. I tell
Yeah.
you, you are fulfilling a function there. And me
Yeah.
that is down here, there is something I'm doing. So they always say, be good to people on your way up. People you meet on your way up, be good to them. That's humility because on your way down, there might be the stairs you need to climb down. And what
Yeah.
does that mean?
Mm.
Treating people, you don't need to make anybody feel less of a human, okay? Because I don't know something doesn't mean that that's the end of my life. No,
Mm.
it means that I don't know that particular aspect of whatever it is.
But
So
other
help me.
things. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know other things which I can also give you because you don't know it all.
Yes.
Anybody that says that they know it all, let them go to the stream with a basket and fetch water and come home. That's an adage in my language. If you think you know it all, go to the stream with a basket, fill it with water, and bring it home. So that is what I would tell people. Even without the internet, people can have little groups, whether it's 1 to 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Once one or two people are aware of what's going on, they can also have a little group, chat about it, help each other. What can we do to develop? Like you said something, I was telling my son 2 days ago. So, Mom, I need pocket money. I said, no, you have to work for it. So, Mom, but I said, no. You know what I said to him? I said, go on the street, go and look at those, some of these leaves that are falling. Some people might need somebody to, just sweep it for them. Go ahead and sweep it. They'll give you £1 and you'll be grateful you did something and got the money. The other day I said, go and wash the car. He went and washed it anyhow. The fact that he went to do it because he wanted something is one thing. But when he develops that confidence that, you know what, I'm doing it to help, as serving, not because of the money, that is where his life will begin to function properly. And I said to him, you have to develop this habit, but you keep saying, you keep talking about it so that it gets into his head to understand what it is and what he needs to do. The other day, I told him to start reading Who Am I, which is what we started. So when he finished reading, I said, come and explain to me, what did you understand? He said, you understand that, you need to do things that God has given you, those gifts that God has, you need to develop it so that you become, what you want to become in life. I said, you see, but you see, that has gone into the medulla and, or subconscious mind. But with time, he will also remember those things. That is why they said in the Bible that teach a child the way he should go, so that when he grows up, he doesn't depart. But let me tell you, most of us depart from it because we see something new. You understand? But let us lay the foundation, talk to people, enable people to do the things. Like our community is not developing because everybody is busy doing their own. It's me, myself, me and my family. I want to show the big house, the big car. No, we should go to there are people in the community that, for example, widows, okay, don't have nobody. There's a friend of, well, I would say, young guy from my place. He went out and built one little lady a house because where she was staying was dilapidated. All this mud house and everything. And I said to him, God will bless you. It doesn't matter what your intentions are, whether you want to run for political, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The fact that you did it, it will show other people that, yes, these things can be done. We need to do these things. But we need to discover ourselves. Can you imagine a woman who was busy looking after the siblings and never got married, never had a child to look after her whenever, based on the culture and their belief system? What will happen to that woman? You think the siblings will come look after? They will mind their own business.
Yeah.
So it's really wrong. It's really wrong. Women need to start helping. Like, I'm not an advocate of a woman who will sit down at home waiting for the husband to bring help. But helping means developing yourself, knowing that there are things you can afford to do, and the man giving you the opportunity to do those things.
Yes.
Yeah, supporting each other. That's what husband and wife should be. It's not one lording over the other. That's not what it is. If that is what it is, to be honest with you, so many marriages, it's rocking anyway. So we shouldn't do that. We should be able to support each other. Treat everybody like human. You have a sister, you have a brother. If you want other people to treat your wife or your children, I have children, I have girls. So tomorrow, one man will come and tell them you can't do that. I've told them you better start finding your purpose right now, so that any man who sees you will see you and your purpose and run with your purpose. Either he supports you or meaning get out of here.
I could tell even if I didn't know the language.
So it's not really good. We need to encourage them because everybody wants what is good for them. You can only find what is good for you by actually looking inside of you, what God has put in there, and being able to exercise it freely without fear of any man, woman, mother, brother, sister, whoever it is. As long as you do it in all humility and you respect people. You have to respect people. Respect doesn't mean I'm worshiping you. I always tell people, you have to be assertive. When somebody does something that is not right to you, you say, look, I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable with this. What you did, I don't like it. You have to be assertive. You have to speak out. You don't just keep quiet because somebody's going to be. Nobody has right to actually violate anybody. Nobody has that right. So that's me. Women, I want to say to all the women African women, please, your submission to your husband does not mean you cannot do anything. It means you work with your husband. You respect your husband, but you need to show your husband that this is what you are made of. Your husband needs to accept you for who you are and support you. That is what I believe partnership is. Respecting each other, supporting each other. When your husband wants to do something, talks to you about, say, look, this is what I want to do. I need your support. You support them. If you think the thing that the man is doing is not quite right, give him reasons to understand, not by force, not by, being autocratic, So talk to him. And men, please do love your wives. I mean, look after your sisters. Nobody said you should not look after them. Also, treat your children, your female children, as equal. When I mean equal, as human beings. Allow them to find out what God has put in them. Show them the way so that they will make a decision that they will never regret in life. Not after going to school, they come back and say, "Is daddy and mommy that made me go and study this? Now I don't like it." It's going back to where you started. And it's not right. So let us get away from this religious, cultural, and what's it called? Whatever. Whatever it is. All these things are having an impact in our children and us. So please, let us learn to develop ourselves and make life better. The community will get better and the society will develop, because we are all contributors to our society.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Sister Chinwe. Our time is up. So I realized that there's so many men on the platform watching. I respect you for that. Even when the topic was about women, please find out, encourage the women in your lives to discover themselves. Is there anything limiting your wife, your sister, your daughter? Encourage them to rise up. And when us women are fulfilled in what we are doing, we can achieve much more. We give you joy, we multiply that. Why? Because we're already bubbling with a lot in us. So when you encourage us, when you give that room and space for us to shine, guess what? Our world will be a better place. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, special guest Sister Chichi, for bringing and sharing your insights with us. I believe this message will go far and help our women and all of us African women to rise up to purposeful living. So thank you. Thank you, Sister June, for your contributions. We'll read the comments later. Thank you for everyone who has joined us. Have a very exciting weekend. God bless you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.